Welcome live to the Fort Lee YouTube Athletics channel. Today from Sugarman Field in Fort Lee, it's time for Bridgman soccer today. The boys soccer team entering at 5-2, 2-1 playing in the Big North American Division. They take on the Ramsey Rams out of the Big North Patriot Division, entering with a record of 5-1-1 overall, 2-1, 2-1-1 in league play. The Rams last year, a terrific season. They were the Northeast C Group 2 champions as they defeated Mawa. They went 10-1-1 overall last year in the reformatted playoffs, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, and we did not have the full widespread state playoffs, but the Ramsey Rams were that good that they could have had a deep season. They defeated Harrison in the Group 2 sectional semifinals last year as an example. So the Ramsey Rams are here once again under fourth-year head coach Cesar Blacido. And they are here off the bus a little bit late, but Fort Lee is ready, and the Bridgmen in under head coach Demba Manet at 5-2. Should be a fascinating matchup with the physicality and the technical ability of the Ramsey Rams. Fort Lee still without the terrific center attacking mid Ian Aragonez, their four-year starter, first-team All-American Division player that would be in the middle of everything as their center mid. He is still out until mid-October, so for Demba Manet, he is still piecemealing some things together, and his team will line up in a 3-5-2. Let's give you the starters for Fort Lee. The Bridgmen will start 5'10" sophomore Benjamin Tomas in goal. First year of the varsity, he's made 4 saves over the course of 2 other appearances. So this is a big opportunity for Tomas, who is growing and taking a step forward. And particularly Demba Manet, excited to see what he'll be like next year once he gets a full year of off-season training under his belt. The 3 center backs, Juno Kin, the centermost center back with Gen Shimizu and Randy Maraquin. On the outside, Sebastian Salama will be on the left, and Alex Oakley will be on the right. The holding mid will be junior Enzo Yu, and in front of him will be Koyo Hashi, along with Kaito Shinoda. And the 2 forwards up top, Caden Chan, a junior in his 3rd year as a starter, 2 goals and 3 assists, and Timothy Strelli, second-team All-American Division last year, 6 goals and 1 assist. He leads Fort Lee in scoring. Meanwhile, for the Ramsey Rams, senior Ryan Haskell's the returning starter in goal. Last fall, a second-team All-Group 2 performer, a wonderful shot stopper. This year, he hasn't had to do as much work. 26 saves this year, but 12 of them came in a 2-2 tie recently at Westwood that Ramsey had to fight back out of a 2-0 hole out of to pick up the point. Haskell is a senior. In front of him, Jason Balbuena will be the right back. Christian Bender, a senior, will be on the left. The 2 center backs, senior Peter Soldano and sophomore Patrick Weir. Center attacking mid is George Haskell, 3 goals and an assist, twin brothers with Ryan, along with Sean Davidson. The holding mid will be Hector Andrade, and then up top on the left wing, Luke Ernst, the sophomore, with 3 and 3. Vincent Tradici will be the center forward and the target man, and senior Edward Coe is on the right for 4th-year coach and Monmouth graduate by way of Ramsey High School, Cesar Blacido. And we are underway. White on white uniforms for Ramsey, Fort Lee in the black on black. Great sunshine is out here just to at least alleviate some of the chill in the air so far as we move forward into the later afternoon and late into September. Game time temperature about 67 degrees. Ramsey very much a possession style team. They've come in having won 3 in a row. Fort Lee off of a loss on Monday, 2-0 to Westwood. And we'll get the foul against Fort Lee in the middle of the field against Sebastian Salama, the senior who is back playing soccer, played as a freshman, and he has a big opportunity today for the Bridgmen. And Fort Lee also without starting holding mid Manny Pack today, as it'll be an early corner for the Bridgmen and to try to test Ryan Haskell. So for Demba Manet, he has had to reshuffle his lineup a lot recently, losing Ian Aragonez in the 2nd game of the season. And he has been changing from game to game. Strele, service, punched out by Haskell. Not much traffic in front of Haskell, who goes 5'11", but a trained goalie and playing through the STA Soccer Club, along with his twin brother George. So Ramsey upon the first clearance. We are underway into the third minute. Toss-in comes for George Haskell. And he's the most dangerous Ramsey player. A group that graduated a remarkable 17 seniors off of last year's team. Ramsey, a Group 2 school. Fort Lee has moved up to North 1 Group 3 this year. And the Bridgemen sent it over the top as they look to make the connecting pass for Caden Chan. On it was the left back, Christian Bender. Settled to the feet of Shinoda before it's punched ahead, and a nice ball laid out ahead for Chan. Rather taking the shot, and Haskell making the save. As the other forward, that is Timothy Strele, who was able to accelerate, and he tried to test Haskell to the short side. So the early scoring chance in the third minute for Fort Lee, and that is who the Bridgemen want to get into some space. Timothy Strele wants to play at the next level somewhere in college, and this has been his best season. Played a lot last year as a starting forward, 2 goals, 2 assists. Ramsey will have a restart. Numbers forward for the Rams in the box. And an area of concern for Fort Lee, how they will handle these restarts. This one flicked on and nearly springing Peter Soldano, the center back, before the clearance for Fort Lee. A nice touch on that first ball for Vincent Tradici, the center forward and target man for Ramsey. Bender to toss in. For the sophomore Benjamin Tomas, they're trying to organize his Bridgemen. Toss comes in, it falls in the 6, and it's buried. Far post, Jason Balbuena. His first of the season, it comes off of a throw, and Ramsey scores in the 4th minute. Again, it's worth repeating, Demba Mane had a real concern about the physicality of Ramsey. Tomas, just a sophomore, he stayed in, did not attack the ball. So it's Balbuena able to finish. He had 2 goals last year. It comes here in the 4th minute, 1-0, with the assist going to Christian Bender on the toss. So for the Rams, that is now 22 goals as they play now their 8th match of the season. And Balbuena, he kept his game simple there, did not try to do too much in panic. All he did was just place the ball into that open portion of goals. So credit to Junior for being able to do that as Fort Lee advances the ball to the offensive third. Ramsey was the 3 seed. They won their first section championship of any kind last fall since 2014. Corner, Strelly carries all the way across to the far post, and the opportunity off the volley missed. Golden opportunity for Fort Lee, and just after the goal, and Strelly was able to get it across on the bounce. And the look coming from Caden Chan. Second shot for Fort Lee. Ball win for George Haskell before he is dispossessed by Salama of Fort Lee. Strelly to check back in front of Peter Soldano. Will settle and look for numbers. A nice switch, but Caden Chan is offside. Ramsey at 1-0. The Rams, a program with terrific history. Alum Cesar Blacido, the 2020 Big North Coach of the Year. One of the top teams in New Jersey overall. They finished last season 8-0-1. Mir Ishak, who they graduated, finished with 11 goals, 4 assists. He was first team All-Bergen County. Now, among those 17 seniors, as a ball is pushed outside for Edward Coe. But in talking to Cesar Blacido, lost in the fact that there were 17 seniors, he felt there was a very talented underclassmen group waiting to play those meaningful minutes. And he's been proven right. Ramsey in at 5-1-1. Long loss came in the second game at Riverdale, as this is Tomas taking over. And a couple of character tests so far. September 13th, Ramsey trailed a couple of times at Cliffside Park before trailed 1-0 and 2-1, eventually won the game 4-2. Ball ahead for Chan, and again off his line is Ryan Haskell. Then they went to Westwood, September 21st, trailed 2-0, fought back, and picked up a tie. And then Ramsey also has a win on this past Saturday at Clifton. Clifton had a super year last year. They were ranked in the top 5 or top 10 all season. They graduated a ton of people, but Clifton historically an excellent program. And Cesar Blasito thrilled that they were coming away with a 1-0 win against a highly tactical team. That's Balbuena. Tradici. And climbing his back, Gen Shimizu, the senior center back, first-year starter, and a real unsung hero for Fort Lee. This is a cross played in for Luke Ernst. Second ball back in by Ernst. And the Bridgemen the clearance. Patrick Weir, the sophomore, plays it down beautifully and simply for Balbuena. Jason Balbuena. Strelly, and he's bodied off by Sean Davidson. Our officials, Ray Miller and Steve Parsegian, doing the honors today in Fort Lee. Space for Andrade, and look to send Ernst forward. Ernst, after a poor touch, as he pushes it forward. And the Bridgemen, a couple of dangerous moments here. With Ramsey with the 1-0 lead, the goal coming in the 4th minute from the junior right back, Jason Balbuena. Haskell was able to settle it. Davidson goes further, touched along by Tradici. Coe, and as Coe tried to shake through, he was met out wide, and we'll get a toss-in coming up for Ramsey and a couple of early subs for, or at least one sub for Cesar Blasito. He's going to make a change and pull Sean Davidson out, and he's going to bring on a very tall sophomore. And we'll see how his configuration will change. 6'3" sophomore Max Nierenberg will come in. Here is a ball across, and it is headed high in the air, easily handled for Tomas. But there's the target man, Balbuena. So Ramsey testing the sophomore Benjamin Tomas today as they're in transition off of a takeaway. Edward Coe, then he loses possession. Strelly looks to play Chan forward. Caden Chan. Strelly waits for some more support, then will curve it towards the back post, and Haskell showing great footwork there, backpedaling and handling it cleanly. A great strike from Timothy Strelly, who had his eye to goal, and against most high school keepers, that's in the back of the net. Haskell was the backup as a sophomore, so he's in his 3rd year in the varsity. As he releases for Tradici. Again, Shimizu on the handle. That ball swept away by Oakley from the feet of Ernst. Second ball played back in. Making the run was Balbuena. Edward Coe. And Ramsey starting to win the possession tug of war in this first half that is into its 12th minute. And the Rams getting here late off the bus, but they do not appear to be bothered at all. They have the 1-0 lead. Ball for Tradici. Ernst to settle. Feet of George Haskell. Stepping forward, Andrade. Now the first touch for Max Nierenberg. Coe with good width. Ball that was flicked along, and eventually Oakley all the way at the right back spot will get on it. Bender is pressured by Caden Chan. Well, for this Fort Lee team, for head coach Demba Manet, it certainly has shown this team had a 5-game winning streak, but he was anxious to see what his team will look like in terms of their attention being grabbed after losing Monday to Westwood 2-0. In terms of intensity, passion, playing with physicality, and from the warm-up, sometimes teams can warm up too long. And I wonder if Fort Lee might be in that boat today. Meanwhile, off of a Fort Lee foul, Luke Ernst will have a restart. Tomas will look into the sun. And this one, no traffic. Not taken well by Ernst, who would love to have done better with that. Ernst has been the breakout sophomore for Ramsey, starting basically every game as a wide forward. He's got 3 goals, 3 assists. And it's someone that has shown Cesar Blacido, who was a very comfortable on the ball player himself during his time at Ramsey, how comfortable he is immediately at the varsity level. Cesar won a state championship, part of the North Jersey Team of the Year his senior year in 2007. Cesar Blacido would go on to play at Monmouth for Rob McCourt, winning 4 Northeast Conference championships when Monmouth was in that league, 4 straight NCAAs. George Haskell. Down the middle, they look for Tradici. Bender tossing in. Right back to Christian Bender. And possession through Nierenberg. Cole will leave it for Andrade. Dispossessed. And fine wipeout play there by Enzo Yu of Fort Lee. And the ball over the top for Strelly. And Strelly trying to settle it. That looked to volley against Haskell, who is out at the top of the box. Not a bad thought from Timothy Strelly. If he does let that ball settle, however, and perhaps he may not have had a teammate within range to yell to him, but if Strelly allows that ball to settle at his feet and show a bit more patience, he could have had a chance to go one-on-one against a retreating Ryan Haskell. But it shows you the quickness and the alertness that Timothy Strelly is playing right now in his senior year. Against Westwood on Monday, as the stats on NJ.com have started to come out and there's more and more film available, Demba Mane noticing how well covered Westwood had Strelly. And that will be an adjustment that the Bridgemen around Strelly will have to make, notably Caden Chan, and then Koyohashi, and then eventually Ian Aragonés once he is healthy. How they can take advantage of that potential extra space and those pockets that surround a surrounded Strelly. George Haskell. Follow-up, Patrick Weir. Fine slide tackle there. Rather, that was Andrade. Strelly, as he is bottled up, and the ball crosses the sideline for a Ramsey throw. We've played 15 minutes. Bender will wait for some more numbers to go into the box. Tradici, again the target, and looks to wheel it in front, and the cross was blocked. Clean block by Shimizu. Strelly. And Strelly able to play Chan ahead. Chan is onside. Caden Chan with a burst that takes the shot, and he just missed. Exactly what was necessary. Caden Chan stayed onside with a well-timed run, and he took the perfect 2 dribbles necessary, 1 extra, and he's probably out of angle. That was all clinical except for the finish from junior Caden Chan. And the great scoring chance for Fort Lee, their fourth shot. Yeah, coming here in the 17th minute. Chad with 2 goals and 3 assists, and Demba Mane talks about how they want him to be in the opponent's box at all times this year. Take advantage of the space on the other side, opposite Strelly. And what a connecting ball that was from Strelly. Haskell. Bender searches for Balbuena. Nice ball. And Tomas did not read it well. That ball sailed further. Nice ball from Christian Bender. And perhaps the sun having an impact, but that's also a sophomore that is still growing into game speed and judging the flight of balls like that. Now Balbuena got in behind. Better goal kick from Tomas. Tomas is playing club soccer with the Future Soccer Club. Only started soccer seriously in the 7th grade. Went to a goalkeeping clinic, though, recently in Florida over the wintertime. So this is kind of what he's looking at for his future, rather for the summer. And no one in the box for Fort Lee. And the Bridgemen do have experience in front of him on the back 4. It's going to be a penalty as Ryan Haskell played it with his feet and then picked the ball up. So it's going to be an indirect free kick. So Ramsey can put up a wall. This is almost to the detriment of Fort Lee. On a rare occasion you see this call, but it is the correct one. The ball went directly to Haskell's feet first, then the pickup. But because this is indirect, you have to give 10 yards. There isn't 10 yards to spare here. So Timothy Strelly just has to try to power the ball through a wall of defenders. And they have to remain stationary. They don't come rushing out as if it's the field hockey flyer. So Strelly, this is a little bit more about placement along with power. And he is so close that you kind of have to perhaps power through. One touch, the shot, it's blocked. Follow-up opportunity in the volley, and that is also blocked off the foot of Yu. It'll be a corner for Fort Lee. But the Rams escape that mistake by Ryan Haskell. And Fort Lee with another glorious chance coming in the 20th minute. And that's where how close the ball was placed was a detriment to the Bridgemen. Next ball coming in. Balbuena pushes the next ball out. And Fort Lee look to keep possession, and they will out to midfield. Just a difficult ball in any event at times, because especially at the college level where that play is practiced a little bit more, you'd like to pass that ball across side to side and then have a shooter maybe from a different angle with the defenders not quite bearing in, or at least having their bodies positioned that way. But there's a lot of chaos and commotion that happens during that. So as I've seen that play only a couple of times before, and generally when it's worked, it's usually the strike just overpowering the defenders that are, within 6 to 8 yards. So it remains 1-0 Ramsey Rams. Ralph Bednarczyk with you on the Fort Lee YouTube Athletics channel. Thanks so much for being here today. Koyo Hashi, and look to play the ball through the middle. Andrade, and his touches so far have been very solid for the Rams, and Andrade will deal it back for Soldano. Tradici. And Vincent Tradici, he's the energizing run, he says. Cesar Placido never stops working. The perfect forward to press back lines. In this case, Ramsey has had the ball for a large stretch, so Tradici's impact in that perspective has been limited. As we'll get our first Fort Lee substitution, as Koyo Hashi is going to exit. And looks like Kaito Shinoda, who had just left briefly, returns. Off the toss in, Tradici will lay it back. George Haskell. Andrade looks for a switch. Oakley in position. And a ball chipped ahead for Strelli onside. And Timothy Strelli with Bender looking to recover. And Strelli will then just promptly take the corner for Fort Lee. And there were some options there as Alex Oakley was making behind him. And the Bridgemen so far have shown that they've gotten pretty good service. And can they remain dangerous? 23rd minute, first half, 1-0 Ramsey. Enzo Yu service. And the head ball left short of the 6. A throw coming for the Bridgemen. And Ray Miller, the official, will back up Oakley. So he can only toss it in short. Caden Chan. Chan to the feet of Shinoda. And Shinoda looked for the next ball. Haskell over the top. Look to sprint Tradici in. Haskell on the takeover. As Coe, surrounded by bodies. And pushing forward was Alessandro Caratozzolo of Fort Lee, also on 17 in black. This out wide, room for Kaito Shinoda. Ramsey in Group 2, North 1, and some of the perennial powers that could be in their way towards a section championship. Glen Rock, who is always strong, very small Group 2 school. Newton out of West Jersey has been there. And Riverdale among the contenders this year, and surely have to include Westwood in that section. Fort Lee in North 1 Group 3 this year, a new classification for Dema Mane's program, and he just kind of shook his head like, you know, we're going up another class with now even larger schools as the challenge for Fort Lee. Enzo Yu, and Yu runs into Jason Valbuena. Substitution on for Ramsey. As this is a ball out wide, George Haskell, and Haskell, just as he looked to turn and cross, he lost his angle. Shinoda. And Shinoda had stopped his run as Caratozzolo had the right idea, but may have released the possession too soon with nobody around him. "27th minute of this first half. Fort Lee in North 1 Group 3, programs like Northern Highlands and boys soccer, again, strong programs. Ramapo, a perennial power in North Jersey, and a threat under head coach Evan Baumgarten. This is Kyle Mandel, who just checked in, a senior who's also another energy guy. He replaces Tradici at that spot. It'll be a deep throw for Ramsey. Mandel coming off of a goal and an assist against Paramus Catholic. He's got 2-1 of the season. And between he and Tradici, Ramsey always seems to play with great intensity when one of those two is on the field. Rams with a throw coming from Bender. Nierenberg was the target. Next ball in, coming Christian Bender. And handled by the Fort Lee defense. Oakley playing it out. George Haskell. And Haskell just shoved down by Strelly. And for Timothy, that's probably not going to be a foul in college. As the players in your opponents get bigger and stronger, they hold up their balance better. But in that case, George Haskell, that eventually once he plays in college too, he won't go down on that kind of shove easily. What a difference it is in the physicality. But it is a foul at this level. Restart for Andrade. Came to the top of the box for Balbuena. And this loose ball, Strelly. And Strelly overran it and then commits the foul, as getting underneath him was Edward Coe. And it is going to be a card against Timothy Strelly. So he will have to head off and wait to sub next opportunity. And that, for the high school level, again, by the rules, is you might call that. Strelly has committed a couple of fouls earlier, so Steve Parsegian making the call, but certainly a yellow card on the very soft side. So Hector Andrade, and they'll back him up on the restart. 28th minute of this first half. Andrade, good ball. Tomas has to punch out. He had a man in his face. Luke Ernst back on the field for Ramsey, and he is cut off. So Fort Lee will have the defensive throw. Well, these are all significant steps for sophomore Benjamin Tomas. And a foul against Ramsey. Oakley with the restarts. And this will drive Haskell off target, and he has the easy handle. And it'll be Ernst with the hook. And fouling the Fort Lee player, that was Juno Kim. Make that look like actually 13 Samuel Choi. And now some pushing and shoving off ball at the edge of the box. And Steve Parsegian is going to break up this conversation. Alessandro Caratazzolo. And with Ramsey's holding mid, Hector Andrade. Haskell handled the last one cleanly. Played short for Fort Lee. Next ball, a nice head ball handled by Soldano. Numbers had gotten in behind the Ramsey defense. May have been blown offside in any event, but it was a good thought to change it up for Fort Lee. Fort Lee with great chances, including an indirect kick inside the box coming in the 20th minute. A great look in the 17th minute from Caden Chan as he got in one-on-one against Ryan Haskell from a little bit of an angle off of a counter. There's room for Koyohashi. And Hashi can only just chip in. About the yellow card a few minutes ago to Fort Lee's leading scorer Timothy Strelly has certainly changed the match. Oakley ball in for Chan. And handled again cleanly, Peter Soldano. And Soldano has shown his proficiency in the air. He's also got 2 goals offensively in the air this season. Hashi. And Koyohashi and shows nice patience. And look to play the 1-2 inside. Again, Shimizu. And 50-50 ball win for Haskell. Space for Ernst now on the right. Luke Ernst. Mandela returns for Ernst, who takes the shot and delivers. Fine touch from Kyle Mandel. Ernst made that nice dash, about a 15-yard run, and had his head up the whole time. Luke Ernst, the standout sophomore, with his 4th goal in 8 varsity games. This one comes in the 32nd minute. Mandela, terrific assist, his 2nd of the season. 2-0 Ramsey. And credit just the nifty touch and ball win from George Haskell after Ramsey was able to dispossess Fort Lee as they look to move forward. Well, you can't underestimate the touch, and Mandel knew exactly what Ernst wanted to do in that case. And Mandel with his back to goal and played Ernst in perfectly. Quality finish for Ramsey. Hashi wide for Fort Lee. And Hashi dispossessed. Max Nierenberg handling it. Shimizu looks for Oakley. Oakley trying to stay on side. He does, and he takes the side volley. Save is made, then the follow-up is off target. Well, Oakley tried to slow down and delay his run as much as possible. Stayed on side. Remember, there are just 2 officials in regular season high school games. Oakley remained on. That was a pretty good side volley. And the way it spun on Haskell, he could not handle it cleanly. Then that follow-up shot from Koyohashi would have been trouble had it been on frame. Caratazzolo, and he was the one fouled as he released forward. 34th minute, Ramsey has netted 2. And what a big yellow card it was against Timothy Strelly. He'll have to sit the remainder of this first half for the Bridgemen. Here's Christian Hernandez on for Ramsey. He's been their fourth midfielder, a junior that has also been bringing Cesar Blasido's team a consistent spark. Enzo Yu with the knockdown. Hashi, a takeover. Cartazzolo. Yu on the follow-up ball. George Haskell. Oakley stepped into and pursues. Alex Oakley has been primarily playing as a wide midfielder. A lot of pace. Varsity track sprinter. He's a powerful senior. Starting today at the right back spot. And Demba Mane, once things open up with the return of Ian Aragonés and, of course, with Strelly on the field, they would love to see Alex Oakley join the play and join the break and just be offensive-minded as he makes those powerful runs forward. So here is Shimizu, and I'm mistaken, at the high school level, it is time that has to elapse, not the half. So Timothy Strelly back in after his yellow card. So he must have served 10 minutes of it. And he is now back on for the Bridgemen. Weir, the touch away from Strelly. Space for Strelly. His first touch since returning. Nierenberg slows him down, ball across, inside for Hashi. And then the head ball by Strelly right at Haskell. The presence instant for Timothy Strelly. That pass by Enzo Yu as he attempted to send it through for Hashi. Ramsey with a series of crosses in the early going. They were the more dangerous side. Aside from the Ernst goal, the game since the fourth-minute goal from Jason Balbuena has been pretty even. There was a stretch where Ramsey had the better of possession, but Ramsey just being dangerous and testing Benjamin Tomas was the early theme. Before Fort Lee has done a better job of winning balls in the middle of the field and advancing forward. And that's a nice ball forward, and Fort Lee has a chance to get some numbers forward before Andrade cancels that. It appears they've called the foul against Ramsey. So this is not going to be a throw. Look at the spot of the referee, Steve Parsegian. So this is a quality area, and perhaps an area where Strelly, as he just looked at goal, this is in his range to strike to goal. As we are in the 39th minute. So Fort Lee can get some numbers in the box. And this is an opportunity. Now it won't be Strelly, it'll be Hashi for Strelly. Then Strelly taking the shot, and it's just over the top of the bar. It was touched. It will be a corner. Well, that was a clever play. Strelly had the ball at his feet on the quick start from Koyo Hashi. Hashi will take the next corner. And Strelly almost appeared to be surprised, but he ripped a pretty good shot with no defenders in front of him. Hashi ball in, and Haskell tried to punch out, then the volley, and again the ball found Strelly, and he looked to volley low. It's off the body of a Ramsey player. 20 seconds left, first half. Hashi hustling. Bridgman play it short. Time is unofficial on the scoreboard. Strelly. Ball played into the mixer, and finally a clearance for Ramsey. Our center referee has the official time as the Rams look to transition. Haskell shut down by Shimizu. That's good defending from Gen Shimizu to close out this first half. Two good late chances for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen had about 4 to 5 grade A chances in that first half, but it's Ramsey that capitalized twice. The Rams at 5-1-1, having a 2-0 lead here on the road in Fort Lee. We'll be back in 10 minutes to bring you the second half. You're watching Fort Lee Boys Soccer today on the Fort Lee Athletics channel. Welcome back live on the Fort Lee YouTube Athletics channel. Ralph Bjornchik with you as we're about to start the second half. Ramsey 2-0 at the break over the Fort Lee Bridgemen in boys soccer. Ramsey getting goals in the 4th minute. Jason Balbuena on a throw-in from Christian Bender. Then 32nd minute, they would add to the lead. Kyle Mandel on the assist. Luke Ernst with his 4th of the season on a fine finish. Fort Lee having 4 excellent chances. Caden Chan with a breakaway opportunity. Timothy Strelly with 4 shots in that first half. 3 pretty quality ones. And the Bridgemen with work to do in this second half as Hector Andrade plays the ball in. Balbuena instantly testing Benjamin Tomas. And that ball squarely hit him in the chest. It would have been trouble, anything off target, and Tomas already on high alert. With the second half underway, Ramsey and looking for a kill shot. The Rams in at 5-1-1, trying to make it 4 straight wins. They come off of a 6-0 victory over Paramus Catholic. Certainly is impressive. Mawa, who is down this year at 0 wins right now, they defeated them last week, September 23rd, 4-0. Mawa right now 0-5-1. They will back up Christian Bender for the throw. At the half for Fort Lee coach Demba Mane, I imagine that he was happier with the way his team possessed much better in the final 20 minutes. They were on their heels for a large stretch, and any ball that was crossed in the box seemed to be an adventure. Defensively, here is Strelly with Chan in front of him to the feet of Caden Chan. The return for Strelly, broken up. Andrade. And then the foul, is being a little too handsy, was Caden Chan. The Bridgemen got their chances, but they'll need to win some more balls in the middle of the field and then string that next pass or 2 together. Here's Koyohashi. And then I think for Ramsey, certainly being aware where Timothy Strelly is at all times is going to be a factor. And then can they get deeper possession? And once they possess, work the ball a little bit further side to side. Ramsey has not been able to switch at all in this first half when they've had possession. Andrade to the feet of Tradici. Tradici, nice killer ball out wide for Ernst, and it's just off. Tradici picked that out, and speaking of switches, he and the sophomore Luke Ernst were on the same page. And Ernst with his speed, lining up initially on the left. And he's already buried his 4th of the season today. Haskell ahead of Enzo Yu. Deep throw for Ramsey. So they get Christian Bender. He'll throw it short. Bender's been the deep throw, but that's an illegal throw. I think Bender actually stepped across the line upon releasing. This time Bender enters in for George Haskell. As Oakley comes over to help. And this game is started off slowly in this 5th minute, aside from the early Ramsey chance off the foot of Balbuena, and then the near ball that Ernst almost got to the end of. Bender, top of the box, look for Nierenberg. Hashi looking to turn and face. Bender. Next ball in for Ramsey. Tomas did not get to it, and it will be deflected out. It'll be a corner for Ramsey. Almost fell perfectly for Jason Balbuena. And that's where Tomas is. He gets older and stronger. And Demba Mane has talked about how eventually he will take that step forward, that confidence, the game experience that is so necessary, where you see players in game speed coming at you, looking to finish off a cross. Tomas, as this one he handles well, punches up and then secures ahead of the 6'3" Nierenberg. Strelly as he sent it ahead. Weir stepping forward. Tradici. Connecting with Davison. Sean Davison, he's another sophomore for Ramsey. First year in the varsity. Nierenberg also, of course, being on the field. 3 sophomores, make it 4 sophomores right now for Cesar Blasido on the field. Haskell attacks the gap. Now looks for a cross. Right back to his feet. Then look to play Ernston. '46th minute here at Fort Lee High School. 2-0 Ramsey. Tradici. The bounce went his way. To the top for Balbuena, and the first touch evaded him. Follow-up chance. And then eventually the clearance by Yu. Strelly looked to send Chan forward. Well, Fort Lee's best offense came in the first half, especially the first 20 minutes, via the counter. And this is a nice backdoor pass. Ernst nearly found George Haskell. And after the counters, eventually Fort Lee had a bit more settled possessions and winning the ball in the middle of the field. Tradici. Spin came his way. Now he chips, and Bender, rather, chipping is Tradici. He's got it. Vincent Tradici. The ball bounces his way again. It spun off of the turf with the Fort Lee defender out of position. Vincent Tradici, the Energizer Bunny that never stops, did not hesitate and waste a touch, and he promptly puts it over the oncoming Benjamin Tomas. 3-0 Rams. So a 47th minute goal. Tradici's 3rd of the season. And for Fort Lee, this is just the 2nd time this season they've given up that many. Strelly right back, and he misses the look. Timothy Strelly not off by much again, just sailing it past the post. Fort Lee had lost 4-0 in their opener at Cliffside Park. They had not conceded 3 goals since. Strelly, and there's should be a card. Patrick Weir just hauled down Strelly, and he's going to take a professional foul. And Ray Miller has no choice but to pull the card out. You could perhaps get away with one hand, but the full wraparound, Weir did not need to do that. He had more support around him, and the sophomore perhaps panicking a bit. So Weir will head off for 10 minutes. And this will set up the Bridgemen with a restart from straight on in an area that Strelly can strike from. So Strelly over the ball. He's had his chances. Striking to goal. And he looked for the upper right corner. And again, a good look out of the range of Haskell, but off target. So it looks like it's been Balbuena moving back to center back in place of Weir. There's Bender and Nierenberg remaining as the right back. That's Randy Marroquin, 15 in black as he moved it to the middle, and some space as Toma Takamatsu on 12 in black. 2 goals this year. He's in his 4th year in the varsity. A takeaway by Yu. And then Yu picks up the foul against Andrade. So Strelly almost from the same spot. Meanwhile, that's Enzo Yu that is down on the field shaken up. So Ray Miller, our referee, bent over him having a look. Yu, a junior in his 1st year on the varsity, and on Monday he played at center back against Westwood. But Dema Mene, noting how significant he is in the middle of the field as a ball winner for the Bridgemen. They had to move him back to holding mid. Or rather, that is... Check that. That appears to be Caden Chan. It is actually number 9, Caden Chan, heading off, rather than 6, Enzo Yu. So Chan is off. Here's a restart from the outside. Juno Kim. A back heel before it eventually lands in the arms of Ryan Haskell. So a good driven ball by senior co-captain Juno Kim. And as Oakley tries to get forward, the story has been Ramsey has buried a high rate of their chances today. They haven't had a lot. Fort Lee actually out shooting Ramsey in this one, but the Rams have just been a bit more clinical. Caratazzolo, as he played the ball out wide, top of the box it comes, settled, then Strelly taking the shot, volley save made by Haskell. Great sequence there, reactionary save for Ryan Haskell, his best of the day. And Strelly in disbelief as ahead comes George Haskell offside. So still with a lot of time left in the 52nd minute, Ryan Haskell denying Timothy Strelly. And Fort Lee is going to see the film and all these chances that they're gaining. Strelly with the opportunity to have about 3 goals this afternoon. And Fort Lee has found opportunities. Devin Monet has said that his attacking group, that's the strength of this team. And when Fort Lee gets numbers forward, they have options. They have an unselfish technical team. They're not reliant on just one player. And Strelly tried to play Oakley, and he plays him too far. So that'll be a deep throw. Ramsey will make a substitution, and they will bring back Patrick Weir, so his 10 minutes for the yellow card has been completed. Strelly, Naoki Dartley on for the first time. Sophomore forward. And today he's playing in his first game. Just cleared to play. High energy guy that is getting an opportunity. And he will factor in behind Chan and Strelly to be that third forward moving into the future. Tradici. George Haskell. And good defending there. Shoulder to shoulder, Randy Monoquin. Haskell trying to work his way through Noah Lee, a senior defender on for Fort Lee. Off the bench, and the foul and the advantage granted to Ramsey. And now we'll get a clock stoppage in the 55th minute. And they're going to send Hector Andrade off for something. Maybe he needed a cut cleaned up, so Jason Valbuena will come back in. Valbuena was not standing at the table to sub in. And that looks like what the deal is for Hector Andrade. He's over with the trainer. George Haskell, restart, and he didn't get much of it. Ramsey in control. The Rams have added another and lead 3-0 here on the road in Fort Lee. In this crossover division game, Ramsey at 5-1-1 overall. They play in the Big North Patriot division. Fort Lee 5-2 overall. They play in the Big North American, and a nice ball as Oakley made the long run from his right back spot and sliding over Peter Soldano. Luke Ernst, and he has played a fine match today for Ramsey, and he connects with George Haskell. The Rams trying to make it 4 in a row. The Bridgemen just had their 5-game winning streak come to an end on Monday with a 2-0 shutout loss at the hands of Westwood. Rams got here late, about a good half hour. This one did not start until a shade after 4:30 as Luke Ernst is fouled on the far sideline. But it took just 4 minutes. Jason Valbuena off of a good throw from Christian Bender that bounced in the box. Tomas did not aggressively go after it, and it bounced in the box and it found its way to Valbuena, who headed it in. 32nd minute, Luke Ernst on a nice 1-2 from Kyle Mandel made it 2-0 at the half. And then Vincent Tradici in the 47th minute got out ahead, and the ball spun his way off the turf. And he rocketed over the head of Tomas. This is a deflection, and another one tipped in. Nierenberg, kind of the flick on. It's going to be Peter Soldano the goal. And Luke Ernst had the delivery. So that'll be double assists, and Ramsey adds another. It's 4-0 Rams. So the 56th minute goal, Soldano with his third goal of the season for the center back. For Max Nierenberg, his second assist of the season. And Ramsey showing what a juggernaut they can be in a number of different areas. That's Dartley. And Fort Lee will have the throw. And then with Ryan Haskell backing things up, George Haskell being the ball winner in the middle of the field. And the Rams seem to have all the components towards another Group 2 sectional championship. Talking to Cesar Blacido about his team's area of improvement, he just wants to see them connect better on the field in the build-up. I think we've seen some of that today. Certainly the 1-2 by Mandel, the near connection by Tradici to Ernst. A real positive for Ramsey too, but I think he's looking for them to stay calm, possess on the field for extended periods, and to command possession. And then with Ryan Haskell backstopping things, and he has shown today on his second half save on Timothy Strelli that he can take one away against quality competition. And so ball in, numbers in the box, and it carries through. And that's kind of been a microcosm of Fort Lee's day. It would have been onside in any touch. It's likely a problem, but Haskell allowed to stay back on his 6 and calmly field it. Soldado trying to find Sean Davidson. Ended up turning it over. Settled to the feet of Fort Lee and Tokamatsu. And Tokamatsu ahead for Chan. Moving forward, looks like Tokamatsu as he stepped in. He got the touch off of Weir. So the Bridgemen just looking to get the next one. In terms of scoring chances, it's been about even in terms of high-quality looks. Fort Lee has probably had 4 to 5. Ramsey has probably had 4, except it's the Rams that have finished them. And they've capitalized on their breaks. And a corner, a wasted one for Fort Lee. And it looks like the foul called in the process against the Bridgemen. Ramsey has only yielded 5 goals this year. They have 4 shutouts. Tradici. And Tradici turning the corner, lays it in front, and he had a man cutting through. Lucas Chung on the field for the first time. 24 in white for Cesar Blacido. And Davidson, good bit of skill to possess. Tradici, nice ball out to Ernst. And this 4-3-3 just has a nice feel of the fit of personnel for Ramsey. Tokamatsu, and waiting to catch up was Naoki Dartley. And Ramsey just comfortable on the ball. Fort Lee will have a tough opponent after a few days of practice. On Tuesday, they'll be at Riverdale. Riverdale is 4-3, but they dealt Ramsey their lone loss this season. Dartley, and that's a good ball ahead. Then the Bridgemen will have their second meeting against Cliffside Park, October 7th. Ball swept away from Tradici for a throw. And Cesar Blacido is going to go further into his bench. He's going to make 4 substitutions. And it looks like take a number of his seniors off the field with this game in his back pocket, including changing goalies. So Ryan Haskell's day is complete as senior David Simmons replaces him. Simmons made a couple of saves this year in end-of-game opportunities. Also on is senior Matthew Strohmeyer for the first time, 13 in white. As is junior Will Tatosian. And as is junior Zev Dewan, also entering the match. So changes all over the Ramsey lineup. And I notice 14, senior Ryan Peller also in. Ten goals in the last 2 games for the Rams. And still working at it here in the 63rd minute. To this near post, Dewan. And we'll get the Ramsey, it'll be a Fort Lee foul. The Rams certainly the bigger side between the two. And something Demba Mene was worried about, the physicality of the Rams. And how would his team handle that? And Ramsey showing that certainly from an aggression standpoint, I don't know if there was a major separation between the two. It certainly took Fort Lee some time in the first half before they were able to even up some of the 50-50 balls in the middle of the field for possession. Lucas Chung waits for service. He enters in. Ball in the air and it missed. Matthew Strohmeyer went up unmarked. He had an open head ball and it was off target. And that could have finished off a tremendous afternoon for Ramsey to have someone come in off the bench and instantly factor. Strohmeyer finds another head ball. Oakley, who's now gone in up top, leaves here for Dartley. So Timothy Streley's afternoon appears to be finished. Also in for Ramsey, sophomore Kelvin Bravo in a wide midfield spot. Kim looked to play it forward for Fort Lee. And Noah Lee with the ball through for Nierenberg. Ramsey last year went 5-0 in the Big North Patriot Division. They used to be in the same division with Fort Lee before changing after the 2019 season. Ramsey was in the Big North American as well. They reached the North 1 Group 2 final, losing a heartbreaker to top-seeded Jefferson that year, 1-0, and also lost to Don Bosco in the Bergen County tournament second round. Reaching the Bergen County final in 2018, and Cesar Blasido's first year after taking over for Coach Jamie Phillips. They've won that one state championship that came in Cesar Blasido's senior year of 07. But a bunch of Ramsey teams that have threatened to win another, including 2006, 2014. They lost in the state semifinal. They were the North 1 Group 2 champs that year, and then losing the section championship in the aforementioned 2017, or make it 2018 team. Out wide, looking to make that run, was Ryan Peller. Bravo kept up the pressure. And I was talking in the field before with Demba Manet about the great programs and that he is facing in North 1 Group 3, specifically Ramapo under longtime coach Evan Baumgartner, and Northern Highlands, how the competition level, just to be the third forward or a backup outside back to play rotation minutes, is so fierce. And he is hoping that the competition level in his program raises to that level. He really likes the group he has and the people he has off the bench. Seeing a sophomore like Naoki Dartley today, that may figure into that mix. And that competition level just breeds better players. Bravo. And he was run off possession by Randy Marroquin. And they will spot the foul there as Marroquin impeded Bravo's progress. And as they say, it's truly communities that make championship teams. Tomas stayed in. Outside, the volley is blocked. Follow-up next shot by Davidson. That's also blocked to the feet of Mandela, who shoots off target. Kyle Mandela found the ball at his feet, and he pushed it wide. And programs like Ramapo, Northern Highlands, they're a defending sectional championship team returning. And in the Big North, Clifton, who was number one most of last year in 2020. Again, it was a shortened schedule, but Clifton, as an example, number one most of the year, did not even win a section championship to get into the state semifinal and eventually compete for the state, because of how just tough the competition is. Lee, that ball was past the feet of Takamatsu. Oakley sprints off the sideline. Alex Oakley, and from the outside, can he only roll it in on David Simon. Fort Lee just trying to spoil a shutout. 70th minute. Goals in the 47th and 56th for Ramsey in the second half have created this 4-0 separation. Davison able to work through Samuel Choi well. Choi is a freshman outside back, another travel soccer player that Fort Lee has big hopes for as he gets adjusted to the physicality of the varsity game. Bravo, as he was stepped into by Marroquin. And this second unit for Ramsey showing just how quality is. There is not a substantial drop-off from the starters. And that's what creates those terrific programs. And Cesar Blacido, a product of it. Cesar, during his time, was a 4-year varsity player. Was first team All-Bergen County. And second team All-State as a junior. And he was also a Red Bull Academy player during those times where you could play for Red Bull's Academy and still play high school. Get a couple subs as actually George Haskell, starting center mid, will come back. And will senior center back Peter Soldano. So their afternoon's not done yet. Takamatsu switches over for Choi. And look to connect and make the next run. Mendel has come in after playing well early in this game at center forward. He's come in to play in the back. Nice ball slipped forward and a chance for Alex Oakley. Oakley with Dartley making the run inside. This one spins and almost evaded David Simon. And Simon distributes well. Nice ball out for Bravo. However, deflects. And taken back the other way by Fort Lee and Preston Kaplan, a junior off the bench for Demba Manet. Dartley puts on the brakes nicely. And Caratazzolo leaned on. And again, just good defending. That's Lucas Chung that would not allow him to turn the corner. And in those October days where the wind is howling, it's cold, the physicality certainly in those group and state tournament games is heightened. And that's where Fort Lee will have to take the next steps forward and adjust to that. As they think about making the next step in their program. Fort Lee reaching the 2016 Group 2 quarterfinals. Semifinal team, the 2015 team, as this cross is well over, and it'll be a goal kick for Tomas. But the 2015 squad at Fort Lee was the high watermark, 14-2-2. That team lost a heartbreaker 1-0 to Dover in the North 2 Group 2 semifinals, a team that could have captured Fort Lee's first state soccer championship. It also lost in penalty kicks at Don Bosco in the Bergen County tournament second round. And Bosco usually a team that is at least thinking about making the Bergen semifinals and the North non-public championship game. And this is a shot from the top of the box that is sent well wide by Jose Asensio, a senior, also in for the first time for Ramsey. 75th minute. And the Rams seeking their 5th shutout. Ramsey will step out of division play next. They'll take on Lakeland coming up on Saturday. And they have a real chance to get to 10-11 wins in the end of the regular season as George Haskell shoots from the outside and would like to have had that touchback. Mandel and Soldado now the center backs for Ramsey. With a break up the middle of the field, George Haskell will keep it moving. Dewan to the feet of Haskell. And I'd say Haskell's value to this Ramsey team today has been most significant and just in ball winning in the middle of the field and then defending. We have not seen him being able to connect as many passes, I think, as Cesar Blacido would like in terms of moving forward and attacking as a unit. He's had some broken chances and some shots from the outside. Here is Bravo the other way for George Haskell. Good touch there from Caratazzolo as he motored ahead before he was dispossessed by Lucas Chung. Fort Lee played without starting holding mid Manny Pack today. They hope to have him back shortly. This will probably just be a 1-game absence, and that certainly could have played a factor. Ball laid in, Tomas sliding down to break up the ball intended inside for Lucas Chung. It'll be a corner here late for Ramsey. We're in the 79th minute. Chung entering in. Mandel in the air. This one falls to the feet of Soldado. Bravo then looking to shoot. And it's off of a Fort Lee body. Well, that could have been the capper for Ramsey as Kelvin Bravo seeking his first career varsity goal. Next ball in, and Tomas off his line to handle. So Fort Lee will fall to 5-3, and they'll take some lessons from this game, but the score will not be indicative of how quality of chances that Fort Lee had, where this game easily could be 2-2. A Caden Chan look, an indirect kick from, say, 8 yards out for Fort Lee that they couldn't finish at a 1-0 game either. The Chan look in the 20th, the indirect kick in the 23rd. And then at 2-0, Timothy Strelli with a great half volley strike that Ryan Haskell made the save on. Could have made it 2-1. Instead, it is Ramsey continuing to roll. The Rams move to 6-1-1 with a convincing road win. Their 4th straight and their 5th shutout of the year. 4-0 here in Fort Lee. The Bridgemen fall to 5-3 overall this season. Balbuena, Ernst, Soldado, and Tradici, the goal scorers today for the Rams. Haskell and David Simon combining for the shutout. That's it for all of us here at Fort Lee Athletics. My name is Ralph Bednarczyk. For our producer and director today, Dimitri Nanis. We say so long and goodbye. The next Fort Lee Athletics YouTube production will be tomorrow night football. Fort Lee hosting Glen Ridge. Why don't you join us then on the Fort Lee YouTube Athletics channel? We say good night from Fort Lee.